I thought I would make a quick video talking about where the channel is right now. So, I guess a quick backdrop into my whole history of content creation. Okay. Um, I used to be a writer. I wanted to be a writer. I tried to self-publish some books. I wasn't very good at it. And so I was like, yeah, maybe there's a different way to make money. Why am I so focused on money? Well, you have to be. And I would just say read Rothbard, all right? If you're going to argue with Rothbard, you're going to argue with me. I'm not really interested in doing that. So if you're going to argue with Rothbard, then I don't want to talk to you. But, so, I've always been interested in trying to make money. And then, of course, Jesus took all my money away, which doesn't make any sense. Whatever. I'm not talking religion. Religion's getting on my nerves. No religion here. Done right now. Anyway. So, I tried writing. Tried self-publishing books. Didn't go that great. It turned into a blog that didn't really go anywhere. I really liked the blog. But it's hard to do something that nobody else cares about, or that nobody likes, or that nobody's interested in. It really just wears on you to do that. It's, at least it did for me. Now, I do think there are certain hobbies that you can do that you don't have to try to sell. Now, why are you talking about selling so much? Why are you talking about selling so much? I'll just hear me out. Number one, read Rothbard, and you understand why. Number two, I'll get to the hobby side in a second. Okay, hobbies have a place, and I'm learning that. But I just want you to hear me out here. So the writing was enjoyable, but when I didn't get any readers, it would get annoying. And so I had a blog, right? And finally, I made a YouTube channel. And it was very enjoyable. I really liked it. I did it for 4 years. And I didn't quite understand how to make it grow. I understood how to make content that I liked, but I didn't understand how to make it grow. And so it started to wear on me, especially when I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make a living. And, I didn't have a good perspective about work back then and what it all means. I was very intellectual. That was before I was really entrenched into Rothbard, where it kind of makes sense, like, okay, I get it. And so now post Rothbard, or within Rothbard, I guess, I've really trying to find a way to segregate my life between this is what I have to do to make a living, this is what I do for fun, this is what I do to take care of myself. Really I have to segregate it. It's really like shifting gears. Like, you really have to put yourself in the mindset of, all right, it's time to go earn my money. Then you have to put yourself in the mindset of, okay, it's time to exercise. And then you have to put yourself in the mindset of, okay, now it's time to turn it off and just do my hobby. And then you can put yourself in the mindset of, well, what about entrepreneurship? I want to do that too. So I've really learned. And then, of course, you've got Christ and whatever he wants to do and whatever. I'm trying not to talk too much religion. But I've really tried to learn how to switch gears. That's just the way my brain works. I have to be in a certain mode to be the most effective at what I'm trying to do. And it really is like shifting gears. You just stay there, and then you're focused on this. Like, I was focused on the YouTube channel for 4 years, and just learning how to shift gears. That way, that bleed over doesn't really work. I'll get to that in a minute. So I think when it comes to me and the internet, what I've done is I've tried to figure out what I can't stand and what I like. And it's not easy, especially when you're young, because you assume that everything is the same. You just assume that all websites are the same. You assume that all hobbies are the same. and they're not. YouTube's a lot different than X. You know, it's a lot different than Reddit, etc., etc. You know, hobbies are different. Just because you enjoy swimming, or just because you enjoy playing video games, the enjoyment doesn't mean that they really overlap that well, or they're distinct things. There's not this overlap where, you know, the whole concept of niches has changed my life. It really has. I'll get to that in a second. So aside from Christ and what he's done, and I don't understand what he's doing, I don't get it. I'm trying not to be religious. I can't help it. I've argued with him all the time. I've argued with him against the Bible. He's probably going to have to break me down to build me back up, whatever. Wonderful, great. I already had a lot of money, I had to give it away. I'm having to restart my whole life over with because of Christ, which is just infuriating. Not to mention the Bible is annoying. I'm trying not to be religious. I can't help it. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is I just want to explain where this channel is currently. I've got 105 subs. I had a few stream rates. I'm just trying to explain my life philosophy and what I'm trying to do, that we can understand what's going on. I would say first things first when it comes to YouTube. What I've literally tried to break down my life so much. Number one, a mindset to keep a living, right? To keep a job. Because I gave a lot of money away because of Jesus, and I'm tired of talking to Jesus. He's annoying. I'm tired of it. But I need to have a philosophy to keep a job. That's where Rothbard comes in. That's gear number one. That's mindset over here, okay? Number two, I would say exercise, getting in the mindset of exercise. Renaissance periodization. He's Jewish, so listen to him. He's God's chosen people. But he's ripped. He gives a lot of really good advice. I listen to him all the time. I've got a playlist where I just save his helpful videos. I'm going to try to get back in the gym because I used to go to the gym, and the problem I had with the gym was, well, I'm going to die one day, so why does this matter? Why am I not focusing on the eternal side of myself? Why am I focused on the physical, temporal side of myself? I could be reading the Bible instead of exercising. Well, this is why Jesus gets on my nerves. Oh, listen, the disciples didn't exercise. The disciples didn't go to the gym. The disciples didn't watch their macros. The disciples didn't eat protein. It's just annoying. I'm annoyed constantly. This is why I'm annoyed constantly. Stuff like that. Third thing is trying to, I don't know what it is, but I like the entrepreneurial side of life. I feel like that's really the essence of life, or the fruit of life. Rothbard helped me out a ton because I really wanted to understand why you have to have money, why you have to have this way, and I just started going down the rabbit hole, and it's really helped me out a lot. And I really like his concept of the discount marginal value product. I'm not going to explain the whole thing because I can't, okay? Oh, you don't understand it? Fine. Whatever. I'll accept that. I'm not going to argue with you. But basically the way I use it is, it's a concept that I use to help me with the entrepreneurial side of life. Now, what's so important about entrepreneurship? I would say I have four modes right now. The Jesus mode, I don't know. He's going to break me down. Fine, whatever. I don't consider that a mode right now because he annoys me, and I'm trying to ignore him, but he annoys me. So I'm not going to talk about the Jesus mode. We're going to set that aside. I'd say I got four modes. One is work mode, to earn your money, to earn my money. Number two, I would say exercise mode. I'm going to try to go back to the gym again, get an exercise mode with a game plan, and diet and macros and all that, which I tried before, and it was okay. But I think giving all my money away to the church and then trying to find a new career kind of screwed with me when it came to eating food. Like I had a lot of money, and Jesus tells me to give it away, and I have to restart over, and it was just a pain in the ass to try to start over on a career and also watch my food and everything. That was annoying. I'd probably go back to watching my macros. I could probably do that. And then the final two of the four stages that I'm talking about is one is the hobby stage, because for me, for so long, I've wanted to kind of take entrepreneurship and a hobby and combine them, but I did that to the detriment of not having a hobby. You know, before I really understood the working world in Genesis 3:17, the effects of that, my hobbies were, playing basketball, playing Madden, things like that. Madden more than anything else, watching sports. I had hobbies back before I was really in the workforce. And then once I needed to get into the workforce, I was trying to focus on the entrepreneur side. How can I take something I enjoy and turn it into money? Which I don't think that's a bad thing. But after so many years of attempting to do that, I think I've learned a few things, and I think that's the point of what I'm trying to say in this video. So I've got 4 modes now I consider. Setting aside women and all that, all that stuff, that's a topic for another day, I guess. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is what's the philosophy of the channel moving forward. That's the point of this video. So, number 1, I've got a gear or a mode for keeping a job. Pretty much the same as everybody else. Well, however much you get paid, that's how much you should care. If you get, how much do you care about your $7 an hour? That's how much you should put into your job. Nothing more. Don't put any more into your job. That's where I used to be. I used to be a perfectionist. I used to try to do everything perfect. I didn't understand bureaucracy. I didn't understand anything. So I was trying to be perfect, and I thought my bosses were idiots. And I couldn't just keep my head down and not say anything, and kept losing jobs because of it. Now, the way I'm going to do this is to just focus on how much I'm getting paid and how much I care about that. Oh, $7 an hour. Well, I'm going to care about this job at a $7 an hour rate. That's the only way anybody can keep a job. And once again, the justification for jobs is twofold. 1 is Genesis 3. Number 2, just read Rothbard and stop arguing. The second gear is the gym gear. Renaissance Periodization is a YouTube channel you should check out. Okay. And, he's got some really good stuff. And he's Jewish, so he's God's chosen people. The master race. Listen to him. Whatever. The Bible's getting on my nerves. There's neither Jew nor Gentile. I get it. I don't care. It's annoying. Shut up. I'm done talking about God. He annoys me to no end. Number 3. The mosquitoes are terrible. I'm so lazy I can't even hold this camera straight. Number 3 is, I would say, hobbies. I want to get back to a point where I make an effort. I'll do number 4, actually. I'll do number 4, then I'll do number 3. I'll change the order. Number 4, trying to apply Rothbard's economics that I've read into a way that I can monetize a hobby. Right? So what I call that is the DMVP part of my life, the discounted marginal value product. Just read Rothbard, you'll kind of understand more about it. Basically, your DMVP determines how much money you make in the market. You really need to read them. If you read them, you'll get it. If you don't, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to listen. I don't care. But the point of it is trying to find hobbies that are monetizable. And the way that I've tried to do this, I'm not quite done it yet, is first of all, narrow down what I'm interested in as far as the internet goes. I've tried to ask myself this question. Do I want to live without the internet? Personally, do I personally want to? A lot of people whine, bitch, complain, blah, blah, blah about the internet. Do I want to get rid of the internet? No, not really. Because then, I used to do DoorDash, right? And I made some good money doing it. But what I realized is it's basically a life of mailboxes and mud. Right? That's your life. That's your life. You're driving by mailboxes, you're driving by wires, and there's just dirt everywhere. And that's what you see. Now, it wasn't all bad because, I listened to Sirius XM a lot. I listened to music. I had a great time doing all that. But if you'd read Rothbard, you'd kind of understand, you know, you'd understand kind of my point of view a lot better. Um, you know, I I hadn't quite fully developed my mentality when it comes to keeping the job. So, and DoorDash is kind of a hard job to keep your car up, you know, keep it functioning. Um, Even if you have it's just kind of annoying, I don't want to get too deep into it. Life choices that I had made that made it harder to be a DoorDash driver. I don't want to get into that too much. But the point is that you have to keep a certain mentality to keep a job, and it's a mentality that most people, you know, it's understandably not that pleasant, you know, soul sucking or whatever. You just have to accept your pay and go home, sort of thing. But the entrepreneur side is really the opportunity that people have, I think, to thrive the most. The attempt to earn an entrepreneurial DMVP. Okay, if you've read Rothbard, I really think you need to have that in your life, where you're trying to be entrepreneurial and you're trying to take something that you enjoy and monetize it. You need something like that in your life to chase after. You really do, because that to me is kind of I know Jesus is number one, even though it doesn't make any sense. Whatever. Okay, and yeah, the number two would be, keeping the roof over your head. Fine. Number three, fine, your health. Yeah, go to the gym, eat right. But I really think you need like an entrepreneurial aspect in your life. A YouTube channel is great. Try to monetize a YouTube channel. Try to monetize whatever. You really, in my opinion, need something entrepreneurial in your life to strive for and to learn from and to try to satisfy other people. I really think that's really the essence of life in a lot of ways. It really is. You say, wow, life's dreary and boring and gray and you have to work till you die. Yeah, that's Genesis 3, buddy. Just deal with it. But you really do need to have some type of entrepreneurial spirit. You really need to try to find some way to monetize your hobbies, and that's the third gear that I could say that I have is the trying to monetize a hobby gear. It used to be the only gear that I had. Didn't care about how much. I didn't care about keeping a job. I was whatever, I'll go from job to job. I didn't care about taking care of my health that much. Somewhat I did, but I didn't. Somewhat I did. And I certainly didn't care about having a hobby, because if you have a hobby, that's time taken away from making money. So I certainly didn't care about having a hobby. But after being wealthy in my case, I mean, to me, having a year's worth of money in your hand is rich, especially when people live paycheck to paycheck. After having that experience and then giving it all away because Jesus told me to and starting over again, Jesus, I wish I didn't have to talk to Jesus. He gets on my nerves. But setting Jesus aside, oh, he's a sinner. He's a sinner. I'm going to try to have what I call the DMVP and the hobbies, right? I don't need to try to monetize every hobby, okay? That's where I used to get into a mistake. I tried to monetize every hobby that I was interested in. Through process of elimination, I've learned I really don't like social media that's just written, because written social media, what happens is people just spew the worst takes imaginable out of their sinful hearts. And it's just disgusting to read. Reddit and Twitter are the worst. You just have people's evil hearts spewing from their mouths vitriol and disgusting things. And it's just terrible. So I don't care about any social media that is just typing and you just spew out a bunch of hateful crap and you're done and you argue. I'm done with that type of social media. So then I thought, okay, let me transition to video media, because once again, do I have to have the internet in my life? I mean, I like it. I don't want to get rid of it. If I get rid of it, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Stare at trees and power lines and dirt and mailboxes all day like I did when I was a DoorDash driver? That's boring. Oh, what about read books? See, now we're nitpicking between hobbies, and that's just a stupid conversation. So I might as well keep the internet because I like it. The question is, what do you do with it? What am I going to do with it? I'm tired of the written media. I'm tired of written social media. So I've shifted my focus to YouTube and Twitch and whatever. Mainly YouTube is my main source of social media. And I've really enjoyed it. There's so many good videos on here and so many things to learn. And is it perfect? No. But I do think it's one of the best forms of social media out there, in my opinion. I really like it. And so I feel like I have experience with an old YouTube channel, but the problem was I was taking my hobby and trying to turn it in and trying to monetize it, and I could not. I didn't have a distinction between a hobby and trying to make money, like I think I can do now, and that was the problem. My hobbies were getting exhausting because I wasn't making any money at them, and I don't think that's the approach I'm going to take anymore. What I'm going to try to do is have an entrepreneurial side that I want to try to monetize. The things that I like, but I also need to have hobbies that I don't care about making money at. I can just play a game, shut my mind off, not care about you're not making any money for the next 40 minutes. I don't care. That's what the first side is. That's what the Rothbard side is. That's where I'm getting paid $7 an hour. I think I'm going to give you $7 an hour worth of wages, and I'm not going to stress and worry about the entrepreneurial side. What am I going to do with my life? I can't stay at Taco Bell forever. Oh, who cares? Just do your Taco Bell job. That's gear number one. Rothbardianism, do your Taco Bell job, get your money. Only put in what you're getting out. If you're getting paid $7 an hour, care about that job at a $7 an hour rate. You know what I'm going to do? I say I'm getting paid $20 an hour. Take it into 15-minute increments. So if you're getting paid $20 an hour, take the hour, divide it into 15-minute increments. So that's 4. What's 20 divided by 4? $5. So for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to care only $5 worth of caring. You're going to get $5 worth of caring from me for the next 15 minutes. So however much I care about that $5, that's how much I'm going to put into or care about the job that I'm doing for the next 15 minutes. Why not an hour? Because hours are harder to keep in your head. It's hard to keep an hour in your head while you're working. I've tried it, trust me. So for the next 15 minutes, you're going to get $5 worth of caring. I'm going to care about this job as much as I care about the $5. And you're not getting a penny more of caring. That's the one thing I'm going to do. Second thing is the gym. The problem with the gym was, to me at the time, it wasn't very spiritual. I was feeling good within Christianity. I had not yet gone to the problems that I have with it now. So I was like, why am I exercising if I'm just going to die and my spirit's eternal? What's the point? I don't know. I feel like I need to go to the gym again. It's almost like the first point. Why do you go to the gym? Because you need to, or you have to. You really should. Why do you have a job? Because you really kind of need one. Do you have to have one? No, you can be a bum, but it's just so much better if you have one. So that's how I'm going to treat number 2. That I have to have I'm just going to try to work out again. Number 3, the DMVP part, or the entrepreneur part, the trying to monetize part. I'm smarter than I used to be about things, and I really like trying to monetize the YouTube medium. So I'm going to try to do a few YouTube channels. I'm just updating y'all what I'm doing. I've got a bunch of YouTube channels in my about section or whatever. I'm just going to try different ideas to try to monetize a YouTube channel. Stuff that I'm interested in, that I'm trying to, maybe other people are interested in. Niches and all that stuff. It's pretty enlightening. I'm gonna try to do that. And then the fourth thing is the hobbies. And I think for me, the hobby is actually going to be video games. Because back in the day, I really couldn't appreciate video games because I was always like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? I got to do something. It was really the DMV part of me, the grind, the entrepreneurial part, the money part, before I was rich part, all that. So I couldn't appreciate just turning my brain off for a hobby, movie or nothing, nothing. I couldn't do that. Well, I'm going to try to do that now with video games, you know, just a hobby. Like I've literally made a list. What do I like as a hobby? You know, kind of like a list of what exercises do I need to do. I've just made a list of hobbies that I would like, that I think I would like, that I could do on a regular basis. And so I'm going to try gaming as a hobby as a 30-year-old. I hated games when I was younger, besides Madden. I'm genuinely going to make like an effort to make gaming a hobby. So basically, keeping a job, exercising, trying to be entrepreneurial, and gaming as a hobby. That's kind of where I'm at in life. The whole women thing is annoying. Game and marriage and all this stuff is annoying. I don't really want any part of that right now. And then the biggest problem is Jesus. What does Jesus want me to do? Am I going to argue with Jesus again? Is he going to afflict me again? I don't know. Jesus doesn't make any sense. I'm tired of arguing with him. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to focus on the 4 things I've mentioned. And I just wanted to update y'all about where the channel is. Because the channel, I was trying to do a lot of things at once with the channel. And you're not going to grow a channel that way unless you niche out. You really have to niche out if you're going to grow a YouTube channel. You can't be a jack of all trades YouTube channel, because the people who care about your video game content aren't going to care about your cooking content. They're not going to care about your drawing content. They're not going to care about your fixing your car content. You need to niche out and make as many YouTube channels as you're interested in making, but you need to niche out. People who care about one thing don't care about the other thing. So I'm trying to niche out on my YouTube channels to try to monetize them for the DMVP, the entrepreneurship. The YouTube channels are going to be my attempt at entrepreneurship. Okay. And instead of having one conglomerate YouTube channel where I do everything I'm interested in, I'm just going to try to niche out into several things I'm interested in and monetize them that way. If I can't monetize them, that's fine. But I honestly feel like that's the essence of life. It's kind of like, you have to go to the gym. No, but if you don't, you're going to regret it. And I think the same thing about entrepreneurship. Do you have to try to be an entrepreneur? No. But if you don't, I think you're going to regret it. So that's just a channel update. All the videos I've privated because I'm trying to niche out. I don't want to have 500 different interests in one channel anymore. So I'm trying to niche out into specific channels. This channel's this, just this channel's this, this channel's this, just this channel's this. And if you go to the About section, I've got all the channels, where you link. I don't know, whatever it's called. When you the description, on the channel, not underneath, but if you go to the About section or whatever, I've got all the different channels I'm trying. Oh yeah, a short filmmaking channel. I've got one of those too. So I'm trying to take all my interests and niche out. And I just wanted to give a broad channel update. I hope I don't have to be a preacher. I don't want to get married. Jesus is going to make me. Jesus is going to flip my whole life around, change everything I want to do again, make me poor again, give all my money away again. But in the meantime, that's what I'm going to try to do with this channel. I just want to give an update about this channel for the other channels I'm working on. In case you were curious, where's Milk? And I haven't forgot about Twitch, but that's down the road. I got a plan for Twitch down the road.